Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me again today. My name is General Confusion, and this is once again Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. So, we have a little bit of action going on right now. Down here on the Spartan Island, we have taken Mount Planet. We were given fort superiority in a futile attempt by the Spartans to stave off war, and then we promptly launched the war anyway, because screw the Spartans. I mean, really. So we've taken their 4 major bases up here. They still have Fort Liberty, Training Camp, Blast Rifle, Crag, Militia Station, and then these 3 bases that they took from the Hive. The Hive, Great Collective, and Fecundity Tower. The university is moving stuff around, and wow. That was a futile attack.
Why do you insist that the human genetic code is sacred or taboo? It is a chemical process and nothing more. For that matter, we are chemical processes and nothing more. If you deny yourself a useful tool simply because it reminds you uncomfortably of your mortality, you have uselessly and pointlessly crippled yourself. Chairman Shen Jiyang, looking God in the eye.
Okay, so we've now developed bioengineering, which means we can now directly arrange genetic code from its component compounds. Which means, as they say here, widespread and economical cellular transplants for an entire population. More importantly, from our perspective, it allows 2 things. The clean reactor, which is a unit advance that removes the upkeep mineral cost from a unit, and the longevity vaccine, which is a secret project. So the clean reactor is a big step forward just because it means that now our high mineral production bases can pump out units and never have to worry about supporting them. Because with the clean reactor, you require no support from home bases, they're just free. The longevity vaccine actually has a different effect based on your economics. Basically based on how you distribute the vaccine itself, because this is a life-extending treatment, something that makes life longer, holds off senescence for whoever can afford it. So if you're in free market, all it does is increase the economy score of that base by 50%. Basically, it's an energy bank, basically. If your economics are planned, you have 2 fewer drones at every base, and if they're simple or green, you have 1 fewer drone at every base, presumably because a green economy is producing less of this and distributing less of this because they want more population control. So this is basically just a drone away at every base for us because we're just going to stick with green economics. But hey, an extra drone missing, a drone taken away, that's pretty big, especially now that our empire is becoming very large and we're getting lots of drones. So, yes, let's design better units. So, clean reactor.
Production
done. Garden of the Deep finished building their fusion labs. They only have 5 minerals. So, honestly, I'm not even hardly gonna bother right now. I'll keep making a few minerals here. But I'm not too worried about their mineral production. What I can do here is I can go to a Chaos Foil. So, a fairly obsolete unit, but one that will still be useful. Well, actually, you know what? I might as well spend the extra turns to build Chaos Destroyers. And I am going to make them... This has deep radar, that's fine. I'm going to make them clean. So as you can see, cost 108. Without the clean reactor, it's cost 72. So clean reactor does cost a significant amount more. But it's worth it. Because, see, I can take this clean Chaos Cruiser over here. It will take 21 turns versus the 11 for a regular Chaos Cruiser without Silk Steel armor, but it will never have to be supported, so I can keep producing at that same rate forever. Morgan Processing, meanwhile, has its tree farm. Morgan Processing is going to rely on forests, so we are going to build a hybrid forest here. Where's my hybrid forest? Oh, also, I didn't talk about this. We have the Cyborg Factory. Mind-machine interface gave us that, and that counts as a bioenhancement center at every base. However, it also has some pretty dystopian, feeling to it. I mean, it's literally an assembly line where you are just mass-producing cyborgs, out of people. That's where cyborgs come from, is people. So, yeah, that's a little scary in and of itself. What can this former do? Time for some more terraforming. Okay, so here we have one more Chaos Needle Jet that we're going to move down towards the front line. Our army is getting ready. We're going to blow this guy up because screw him. Mindworms taking a well-deserved rest in the base they captured. Our elite troops could launch their assault here. Actually, these elite troops, I'm just going to wait with them, and what I'm going to do is upgrade them. So, now here's an interesting mechanic. Probe teams normally can capture units, right? Well, this space has a stack of units on it, multiple units. If you have multiple units on one space, a probe team can't move into that space, and it can't capture those units. I'm going to make this ECM Silksteel Garrison clean. Yeah, I'm not actually... plus 50% versus fast units, that's not actually that important. Other people's weapons are not powerful enough to overcome Silksteel armor with a perimeter defense, so I'm going to take that off to save money. Well, actually, it doesn't look like it is saving money. The formula by which it determines cost, I'm not entirely certain what it is, but the fusion reactor, I know, makes things cheaper. So you can see it made a 12 mineral difference just upgrading to fusion reactor. And I think it also reduces the penalty for stacking more things on one unit. So with the fusion reactor and 2 special abilities, it doesn't cost anything extra. So yeah, we're just going to go with them. We're going to hurry them up so that we can have them next turn and the army can move forward. Now these trained missile infantry, see, these guys have actually better odds than the elites just because they have the fusion reactor.
Combat report.
And also notice, of course, that we did collateral damage.
Combat report.
And now those guys are dead. How much would it take to mind control?
Energy.
Yeah, they're definitely running Fundamentalist, I think. Let's go down here to Blast Rifle Crag, and it's only making them 1 mineral. So, although that would take 3 turns. Let's try to activate a Sabotage Virus. Just stir things up in there. Ah, sweet, we got rid of the perimeter defense. That was handy.
Perhaps a careful review of
what are my odds here? Odds are even. No, I don't want to waste a unit like that. Mindworms, mindworms, miney mindworms. This rover needs to heal up. That mindworm can move out, though. And this guy can start exploding the enemy. Also, notice how the little attack graphics change as weapons get upgraded. Chaos guns sometimes have that little red flashy impact, which I think is kind of cool. Wow, that didn't go well for me. I'm also going to blow up this former just because it's kind of blocking movement. Okay, so over here we have fleet anchorage, and over here we have the Believers coming in for another run at my missile cruiser. I think attacking is the best option. Yeah, that gives us better than even odds. Trying to run away, we wouldn't have been able to get away. Because even with our movement bonus, we were just too slow. Oh, crap. Okay, you only have 5 moves. You can't get down there to help. Good luck, dude.
Turn complete.
Oh, he ran away. Industrial boom at Great Lagoon. +1 minerals in every square for the next 10 years. So this is one of the random events that can appear that just give you free resources for no reason. Unfortunately, it looks like it's at a water base, so not very mineral productive.
Population reached.
Veil of Winds. Since I am shifting more towards a military thing, I might start building military units here.
Production
or
complete.
okay, you've got your hybrid forest. That's great. So now your forests are super productive. Let's get an energy bank going.
Production complete.
Meanwhile, what secret projects am I actually doing right now? I'm doing the Aesthetic Virtues and the Neural Amplifier. You may notice I have all the secret projects except the Planetary Data Links. Of course, granted, one of those I stole, but still. Autumn Grove at Last Rose of Summer, they are kind of scattered everywhere. Let's go to Autumn Grove, which is building a HAB complex. After that, it's building copters, but before it does that, since this is actually one of my best mineral bases, before it builds those, I'm going to insert I want the longevity vaccine, I want the aesthetic virtues, and I want the cyborg factory, ideally. I don't care about the planetary data links because I don't need it. But the longevity vaccine or the aesthetic virtues, either of those two are probably the most important. I'm going to go longevity vaccine first.
Pod recovered.
Okay, so we've taken most of the pods over in that area. We're going to keep moving down our missile units. You there. Where's my elite? There he is. I need to upgrade you to... I think I'm going to upgrade him to a drop unit, just because I like having drop units. They're handy, and I want to show off how they're used. So we can do that for 130 credits. This missile rover... I'm going to spend some time and money upgrading here. So we're going to upgrade that to a Chaos Speeder. That guy has already moved, so we cannot upgrade him again. This missile artillery can move down here and bombard Blast Rifle Crag. And then this Mindworm can go kill the Defender. So that my other Mindworms can take the base over. Alright, we've got Blast Rifle Crag. We're going to hurry that up. Blast Rifle Crag is actually at the moment a completely worthless base, but we will make it worthwhile with the recycling tanks, the recreation commons, and the fungicidal fusion formers. All of that will have to be hurried because with only one mineral, it will otherwise take forever. Even with only 3 minerals, it'll take forever. Oh, hi Santiago. What's up? You cannot hope to stand against me, Deirdre. Pledge blood truce now, or face total destruction. Santiago, I have terrible, terrible news. The brain tumor has eaten away your higher reasoning. Yeah, Santiago is not interested in surrender. Which is a shame, really. I would like it if she would surrender. That would be, you know, fine. But alas, 'tis not to be. At least, not until I've, you know, destroyed everything and had a significant fraction of her population devoured by mindworms. You know, sometimes people just have to watch thousands of their own citizens devoured by mindworms before they come to their senses. It's sad, really it is. This elite probe team honestly could just chill out, but I'm just gonna have them go steal some money for the kicks. Okay, here Santiago is calling me again. No, prepare to be annihilated. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna steal the last of your money.
Probe team compromised.
Okay, so getting 3 energy credits was not worth losing a probe team, but on the other hand, probe teams are totally expendable, and it's easy to get them elite because I have several techs that give you bonus probe team morale. So, kind of a shame, but not worth crying about. Okay, Defiance Freehold now has a garrison. It needs a recycling tanks, and then it needs a former, and then it needs a tree farm. So with the advent of the tree farm hybrid forest line, it has now become a lot easier to make newly conquered bases productive by just getting a former out, planting forests, and building tree farms. That isn't to say that building boreholes and condensers isn't more efficient. It still is. But when you have a tree farm at a hybrid forest, forests are very productive squares, and so you can afford to just take the easy route of making pretty much everything forests with mines occasionally in places where mines would be valuable, and relying on those forests for your resource output. That's okay. And it's a lot faster than building up all these boreholes, all these condensers, all that stuff everywhere. And so it gets the base running a lot faster. So when you're conquering an area and just trying to get it working to, you know, a reasonable degree, it's generally better. I'm going to take this guy over there and capture fleet anchorage. Could you kill him? No, you're too damaged. Fine. This transport is just popping pods.
Recovered.
Oh, sweet, a free
Turn
energy bank.
complete. Improvement destroyed.
Yeah, I expected something like that would happen.
Learn to overcome the crass demands of flesh and bone, for they warp the matrix through which we perceive the world. Extend your awareness outward, beyond the self of body, to embrace the self of group and the self of humanity. The goals of the group and the greater race are transcendent, and to embrace them is to achieve enlightenment. Chairman Shen Jiyang, SS on Mind and Matter.
Okay, so we've built the ascetic virtues.
Production complete.
So our population limit has gone up, and our police rating has gone up. So we can now use 2 units as police in any given base, which means that our larger bases are now possible to control. With a negative police rating, very large bases are actually nearly impossible to control, because beyond a certain point, every new citizen you get is a drone. So for example, Gaia's High Garden. Gaia's High Garden isn't a good example because it only has 6 people, but up here you can see, I get, at this difficulty level, I get 4 regular citizens, and then after that, every citizen is a drone. Automatically. And then that has to be modified by facilities and secret projects. And police. At the highest difficulty level, Transcend, every citizen after the first is automatically a drone. So if your base grows to size like 2 or 3, you're already having drone riots. Unless you have talents. So you have to build recreation commons right away. You have to have police active right away. It becomes a very serious problem with bases that are growing.
Production complete.
That's actually one reason I don't really like playing on the very high difficulty levels in this game. Yes, it's more of a challenge, but the challenge comes, at least partially, from just these things that are only in there to slow you down. Like the fact that every citizen after the first is a drone. That's not... It doesn't really add to the difficulty of the game in a way that I find interesting, if you know what I mean. It doesn't make the enemies smarter. It doesn't make it more difficult to win, actually. It just makes it slower. All it does is slow you down, basically. And I'm just not a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of that style of game design. Okay, so we've got you. You, in addition to your energy bank. Why are you building an energy bank? You're making no energy. Build a fusion speeder supply instead. You need to make some more forests. And you, Missile Needlejet, need to upgrade to something more valuable. Over here we have lots of solar collectors and stuff scattered around here. I could put a farm there and that could be a reasonably productive space, but honestly, I have a tree farm over here. Do I have a hybrid forest? I don't have a hybrid forest yet. I'm going to build a hybrid forest here at the Flowers Preach, and after that, it will be a better space as a forest. So I'm going to just make that a forest. This is already a forest. I'm going to make that a forest.
Cannot execute order.
The Flowers Preach is, yep, okay, move off there. We're going to suck the nutrients out. Just like that, complete with the disgusting slurping noise. That's how we extract nutrients. By slurping them right out of the ground.
Request confirmation.
So over here I'm building clean chaos cruisers at Last Rose of Summer as soon as that hybrid forest is finished. Which is good. So Last Rose of Summer right now has plus 18 minerals and will forever. Because I'm just going to keep building, you know, clean chaos units in it. And they won't require any more support. In fact, I should be able to upgrade this guy. Can I upgrade him to a clean unit? Or that may be one of the things that you can't actually add to a unit via upgrading. It may have to come with that automatically. I don't remember. We'll just move him in here and have him rest. Yeah, it is kind of a shame that the Spartans are just not interested in surrender. I would like them to surrender. What's at Fort Liberty? Empath Impact Squads. But we are just going to keep rolling on. There is nothing slowing our military down. Certainly not stopping us.
Energy.
We'll hurry that up. Defiance freehold, 3 turns. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to show you an airdrop. So this drop Chaos Shock Troop can airdrop, and they can actually land anywhere. If they land in a base, they don't take damage. But what I can do is, well, tactically speaking, it's actually not ideal to do this yet, but I'm just going to drop them right there at the Hive. See, they took just a little bit of damage, but they didn't actually spend any moves. So they can now attack. They can just go immediately on the offensive. It's not a good idea because airdrop inflicts a penalty, but if you have an undefended base, for example, you can drop a shock troop unit, a drop unit right next to it, and just move into the base immediately. Now, they have an elite Plasma Sentinel right here, and the perimeter defense, and a sensor, so they are really stacking up the bonuses. As you can see, they started with a defense of 3. With all their bonuses, they get up to 11.25, which is actually significantly higher than my strength once you count in my airdrop penalty. So it's only the fact that I have the reactor that is giving me even odds. So we're not going to attack. We just did that to show it off, kind of. But we are going to bombard them.
Careful review of your options is in order.
Only did a tiny little bit of damage because we moved, and that affects the damage that artillery does. This Chaos Speeder can get almost all the way down there in 1 turn. This Chaos Needle Jet, now he has better odds because he doesn't have that big penalty, so his strength is 11, and the Spartan Plasma Sentinels, they don't have the... What other bonus don't they have? Oh, interesting. Wait a second. Those Spartan Plasma Sentinels aren't getting the bonus from their perimeter defense. You know what? I'd never noticed that before. I had never noticed that perimeter defenses don't count against air attack. That must be what's going on, because the plus 100% is not showing up. Okay. Yeah, it's just not showing up. All they get is the base plus 25% that you get for being in a base square. Wow. I had legitimately never noticed that. I thought perimeter defenses always applied. Interesting. So what about this damaged missile penetrator? Can it do it? 10 to 6. Yeah, it still has positive odds. So see, now this is when the drop troops are handy, because the drop troops could, at this point, after I've destroyed everything in there, if I'd waited, I could pop them over here and just run them into the base and be done with it. But I didn't, so I won't. Alright, and we have also taken Fleet Anchorage. Trance, Silk Steel Sentinels. Yeah, we do want Trance. We don't necessarily need our very top men over here in Fleet Anchorage, though. I think a Trance Plasma Garrison might be fine, but honestly, they take the same number of turns, so whatever. No, not a gun skim ship. Trance, Silk Steel Sentinels. And then, Seaformers and Wreck Commons. That's what we need. That's kind of the base building up. Over here, we need to get rid of the fungus. You guys need to keep grabbing those pods. I love these sea energy spaces. They're just so nice. I just like them so much. Oh no. Oh no, I told Ocean Flower to make the wrong kind of former. Oh, I'm so dumb. They made land formers instead of... Oh my goodness. Wow, that was pretty dumb of me. But, oh well.
Turn complete.
Okay, so our diplomatic comlinks are disabled by sunspot activity, and it says spy reports from enemy factions may also be spotty. I believe that means that we just can't use the infiltrator information. Look at this. Look at Razorbeak Wood. Wow. 25 minerals, 76 total energy. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a whole lot. So over here at Razorbeak Wood, we will build... Autumn Grove has already got the longevity vaccine on lock. I'll tell you what, let's build a fusion lab. Get that econ and labs bonus rolling.
Production complete.
Morgan Hydrochemical has its aerospace complex. Uh-oh, it also has a drone. Do we have a rec commons here already? Yeah, we already have a recreation commons. Well, better get a network node.
Insufficient energy.
And for right now, we are going to make one person an empath, which will produce both econ and psych, so not a total waste. Okay, we've got some clean chaos cruisers rolling out of Copernic Observatory
Terraform complete.
to increase the reach and power of our sea forces. We've got lots of forests going on. We're replacing our solar collectors with forests because actually, with the hybrid forest, forests are just as good at producing energy as most solar collectors are.
Recovered.
Oh goody, another network node. Who has a network node that has not been linked yet? Let's try Silverbird Park. I think Silverbird Park might have already been linked, but we'll find out. Okay, we've captured the Hive.
Insufficient energy.
Yep, get a garrison unit. Actually. Do those guys have police? No? Well, we want them to have police. Apply. Yeah, Trans-Silk Steel Garrison is what we want. Because they need that police power. And then you get down here to Fecundity Tower. Let's see what our odds are. Actually, odds still fine. Infantry also have a bonus versus bases, which is nice. We're going to call off the attack just because we don't want to give them any possible advantage, though.
Perhaps a careful review of your options is in order.
Oh, wow. They have 5 units defending this base, and no mineral income. So, good luck with that, boys. You can wait. You go down here to blow up some more Spartan defenders. Yeah, this is a complete rout at this point. The Spartans are entirely 100% doomed. You know, like they were all along, but more obviously. Got Militia Station. We're not even making any money from capturing these bases, and that's because the Spartans have no money. If they had any money, we would be stealing it, but since there's just nothing to steal, you know, it's pointless. Ooh, even odds. Let's try it. A boil of mindworms is pretty expendable. Alright, we've got Fort Liberty. Trans-Silk Steel, no. Trans-Silk Steel Garrison is what we want because they're the police unit. And then the recycling tanks and the recreation commons and the former. I'm putting the recreation commons before the former just because these are captured bases and so they're even more prone to drone riots. We don't have any drones yet. But our secret projects will help us, but we really want to get the recreation commons down ahead of time. I want to have it by the time I need it. So, basically all we have left, we have Great Collective and Fecundity Tower, and neither of them are going to be hard nuts to crack. Over here, we are going to take this missile cruiser and go over and take these 3 bases away from the Believers. Just because I don't want them expand. They are building a lot of water bases. They are getting off their island in a serious way. They should have been getting onto this island and terraforming it already, but they're not. I can still see information about these other bases, so spy reports spotty may just mean that my information is not 100% reliable. Also, holy crap. Wow. That's a lot of units there, Miriam. You think you got enough plasma garrisons? I don't know, maybe you need a few dozen more. The Believers are also building missile units at this point, so their weapons technology is within 1 generation of mine. Their weapons are powerful enough to be threatening. Not... Oh, hello. Their weapons, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by those believing foils, their weapons are powerful enough to be threatening, just not powerful enough for me to be really actually worried about. Especially not when I have fusion units at my disposal. Fusion units backed up by the industrial power of crawlers, no less.
Insufficient energy.
Oh, right, I'm totally out of money. I keep forgetting that I'm out of money. I think what Morgan Energy Monopoly needs is a borehole. It's not really a monopoly without a nice borehole or two. Severe haze and clouds at Copernic Observatory. Okay, so there's one of the negative take resources away random events. Our trance ability kept that fusion cruiser transport alive, which is nice. Greenhouse Gate has built a... I've lost my words. A satellite. Has built a satellite. So, what have we got here at Greenhouse Gate? We've got reasonable economy, okay-ish labs. It would be worth it probably to build another upgrade structure. We have a tree farm, although we don't actually have hardly any forest. We have 1 square of forest right there. Many squares in Greenhouse Gate's area are actually being used by other bases, which is fine, but it does mean that their squares are somewhat limited. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that guy's not even actually worth it. We're going to make that person an engineer. See, 29, 17. If we made him a worker, 23, 14. So this engineer is actually producing, after bonuses, 6, 3, 9 points of energy. Mineral-wise, this base isn't great, but it's also not terrible. It is getting 9 minerals a turn. So what we're going to do with that is we are going to build... We're not suffering from any inefficiency because we're close to our home, so we're going to build a fusion lab here. Yeah, sure.
The academicians' private residences shall remain off-limits to the genetic inspectors. We possess no retroviral capability, we are not researching retroviral engineering, and we shall not allow this council to violate faction privileges in the name of this ridiculous witch hunt. Fedor Petrov, Vice Provost for University Affairs.
Okay, so we just researched retroviral engineering, which is mainly... in its most direct application, this is a nasty, horrible thing that probe teams can do. They can introduce a retrovirus now into an enemy base, which kills, I believe, half the population, unless that base has a research hospital or another advanced medical facility, in which case I think it only kills 1. In any case, this is, of course, using specifically engineered viruses to deliver genetic alterations, to deliver changes to the genome itself. And it can be used for good. And it can also be used for, mass murder, which is, of course, what we use it for here. However, this also unlocks the Gene Jack Factory, which is a very interesting facility. The Gene Jack Factory is a facility that produces specialized clones called Gene Jacks, which were apparently developed by Yang. And Gene Jacks are designed to love what they do and to do exactly one thing. So they're kind of subhuman in a way, certainly subhuman in intellect. And the Gene Jack Factory increases minerals by 50%, which is a huge industrial boost. Incredible. If you put that in a base that's already producing, 20-some, 30-some minerals, all of a sudden that base is producing 30-some or 45-some minerals, and your industrial capacity becomes just absolutely ridiculous. However, it also increases the number of drones at a base, and it increases vulnerability to enemy mind control, because you've got all these subhuman, easily manipulated workers walking around. It's as cumulative with all other facilities of this type. There are very few facilities that increase minerals output like this, and they're all late game. So, if we wanted to go full dystopian, we could absolutely build Gene Jack factories in some of our massively productive bases and try to rule the world just with sheer mineral output. I'm probably not going to do that. It's not a very Gaian thing to do, and there are so many facilities that my bases are already building that adding yet another one to the queue just doesn't seem very useful. The game has already gone on for a couple hundred turns. It's probably going to end within the next, I want to say, 100 or so, just because at our research pace, we're going to hit the end of the tech tree. And so I don't want to waste time building more and more facilities when they're not valuable. Right now I'm building mainly facilities that increase research as well as economy, and I kind of want to keep that trend going up. Okay, so this is just more silk steel units. So research priorities. I'm just going to check everything at this point, because honestly right now I don't care what field I get discoveries in, I just want discoveries as fast as possible. And as you can see here, we are getting breakthroughs every 5 years right now because we are accumulating 573 technology per turn, compared to, for example, the Peacekeepers 97, the Believers 21, and the Spartans 0. Okay, we've got our first trained Chaos Copter. So it starts off at Commando, because we built it at Song of Planet, which has an aerospace complex, and also it gets other bonuses from being trained and such. And it has 12 movement, it has 12 fuel. If it ever ends a turn, I'm just going to do this to show you. If it ends a turn outside a base, it takes damage.
Complete.
Chopper low on fuel, that message there. We move the cursor here, it takes 30% damage. If it ends 3 turns in a row outside of a base, it is destroyed. In Assassin's Redoubt, we have this Chaos Speeder just sitting up here for some reason. We don't actually need it. We already have enough units down here to complete wiping out the Spartans, if not this turn, then next turn. So this Chaos Speeder can come over to Fort Liberty, which is where we will station units for our strike against the Believers when that time comes. We are also going to have to pre-position units to fight the Peacekeepers and also the University, because while the University have surrendered and sworn a pact to serve us, which they are dutifully doing, certain atrocities turn everybody against you. Specifically, the atrocity that I'm thinking of is nuking somebody. Dropping Planet Busters turns the whole world against you, which is, I think, a pretty realistic simulation of nuclear policy. As a result, when we destroy the Believers with our nuclear weapons, our Planet Busters, everyone, including our vassals, the University, will try to fight us, and we will have to destroy them.
Perhaps a careful review of your options is in order.
Even at 2/3 strength, since this guy has no armor and his base has no defenses, it's just not enough. Okay, we have seized Great Collective. We're going to spend on getting the Defender there in 1 turn so we can start working on the recycling tanks immediately. And then we'll get the Formers and the Rec Commons. I'm not too worried about the order right now. That Mindworm Boil can move down here. My Drop Chaos Shock Troops can launch their attack. Ooh, wow, they're getting pounded on. Ouch. That was painful. Gonna need some more troops down there, stat. Get the air power involved. Dang, those guys can fight. They are the Spartans, after all. I suppose it should be expected that they can fight. That Spartan ship will go away when I destroy the Spartans, but right now it's just being a nuisance. You need to die, please. Thank you. And you here. Yeah, you stay in fleet anchorage for now, I think. We're going to hurry those guys up so we can get you out pretty soon, but for right now, you just stay there.
Pod recovered.
Sonar pod, huh? You are empty. Where did you drop? What did you drop off? Where did you drop it off? Why did you drop it off? So many questions.
Pod recovered.
Another materials pod. Getting free base facilities is great, especially late game when the base facilities you're building are often expensive. Right there, that was just a recreation commons. It wasn't much, but, you know, it was something. And every little bit helps. Okay, I think I am actually going to call this here. We have almost destroyed the Spartans. 1 more turn will do it. After that, we will have to make a decision about whether we're going to turn our attention on Miriam immediately, just to kind of prune her back a little bit, or if we're going to fall back into another period of, you know, rest up and repair and build up more of our civilization. We are doing extremely well still. Our energy income continues to increase. We're up to 350 a year. So at this point, also, since we're taking over bases, let's look at the global energy market. The global energy market, yeah, that amount is going down because we're taking bases. At this point, it would only require 4,600 credits to corner the global energy market. And you know what? I might just do that. I don't know. I kind of do want to show off the whole tech tree, and I've always talked about this as if I'm going to go right up to the end of the game and show off everything that the game has to offer. But at the same time, I don't want it to become boring. And I'm worried that since there is no real competition left at this point, the game might become boring in the later stages. So, you know what? Tell me what you think. Tell me if you would like to see me go all the way, show off all the tech tree, explain all the technologies, talk about all the societal effects, all that good stuff, or if you would like me to just, win the game. Because I can win the game at this point pretty quickly. And then, of course, the channel would move on to something else, which might be interesting to try something, a little new and refreshing. We've been doing this for a little while now. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you, my viewers. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing if you subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do, then more content like this will be coming your way on the regular. So thank you once again, and I will see you all in the next one.